A silent song, a perfect love, a simple...
Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Chicago-based veteran jazz singer and composer Joanie Pallatto. We talked to her about her latest 2021 CD, My Original Plan, and she opened up about a long life in music. She's originally from Xenia, Ohio, and by the age of 4 she began to learn the violin, then moved on to the clarinet. In school, she sang in the choir, where she discovered her passion for singing, and that evolved into touring with the Glenn Miller Orchestra in the 70s. She owns her own label called Southport Records, and she has a great story. Enjoy.
Very nice to speak with you.
Hey, it's nice to meet you. How's life?
You know, everything's good except the weather's getting a little cooler in Chicago than I'd like right now.
I love Chicago. I totally love that town.
Yeah, you spent some time here?
Yeah, I've actually been up there quite a bit. The last time I went up there, my stepdaughter had a dance competition, and every time I go up there, it's delightful. So it's a great town.
I love it. I've been here since 79.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, that makes me feel a little bit dated. I would have been 79. I would have been 7 years old. So yeah, that's a long time. That's most of my life.
You're doing the math.
Right, I know. That's proof right there that there's something amiss. So,
well, this is definitely my home now. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we'll get into all of that. Thank you for taking a minute out for Neon Jazz. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Speaking of My Original Plan, if there was ever an epitaph that 2020 completely destroyed, it's that, because everybody's original plan just got thrown out the top of the highest skyscraper in the world. So talk to me a little bit about this album and it coming out during a pandemic. I know last year everybody was surprised and, everybody had tours planned, but now when you have music coming out, it's probably one of the few ways you can reach fans.
I think so. And, I guess what you said about the pandemic and my record, which was not titled thinking of that year. I mean, I had the title in advance of that, but I guess it really is my original plan. It just sort of all happened over the year. We really started recording the tracks in late December of 2019, all of the tracks. So I was really lucky because with the band, we were able to be in the studio together, record the tracks. We laid it down in 3 days, and then basically I spent all of 2020 finishing.
When I hear things like this, and I hear this a lot from a lot of people, it's amazing to think that, that was some kind of crystallized time where we could actually do whatever we wanted to do. There was that latitude, and you didn't know. No one knew this was going to happen. So, this actually gave you time to take your time to get this ready to go.
It really did, Joe. It really did because, I learned so much. I've spent my life in the studio and the studio with my husband in Southport Records, engineering, producing other artists. When you work on your own record, it's a different thing. But I think having Fareed Haq as my co-producer just really brought a whole different level to producing this record. And, his perspective, his musicality, and all of that was really a gift. And through 2020, what we ended up doing was a lot of streaming tracks. He would stream me tracks, Zoom. We would have Zoom meetings. None of that is something that you thought about before or really, I can't say I really enjoyed it in terms of having to do it that way. But like you said, at least it's something that we could accomplish that way. And it was a tool that I learned so much from to create things that way.
So your path began in Ohio. Talk to me a little bit about where you grew up, your childhood, and kind of how music and even more specifically jazz became your life.
In Xenia, Ohio, that's Xenia. It's near, in between Dayton and Cincinnati. I grew up there. It's a small city. My family always had music in the house. My mom and dad weren't professional musicians, but my father played violin, my mother played piano and guitar, Dad played guitar as well. My brother played electric guitar. Man, he had a great Les Paul guitar that he ended up selling years later that I so regret I didn't just take that from him and say, here, I'll buy it from you. Let me buy it. You know?
Yeah.
Probably worth God knows how much today. It was red Les Paul. Yeah, music was always there. We had a player piano in the house, an old Ampico player piano, and Mom and Dad would sing at Christmas time. They'd sing an old song called, let's see, roll 'em, go ahead and roll 'em down and show your pretty knees. That's a real oldie, you know, but that was the Christmas special, you know. I'd watch Lawrence Welk, you know, every week on TV, and got interested in, I played my dad's violin for a year, then I played clarinet all through school, would always sing in the choir. I had piano lessons and all that in school, but I really feel like found my voice when I realized that I was an alto. My voice was lower, and I was always singing soprano in school for some reason, and I tried out for this little special ensemble as an alto, and then I started singing all the Karen Carpenter songs and music that was really in my voice. And I really feel like from that day, when I sort of discovered that I could really sing, that set my whole career path, and I never turned back. I knew at that moment that I wanted to be a singer, that I wanted to go into music as a lifelong ambition and career.
What was the first live jazz show you saw, or even first live music show that blew you away, that made you think that's also what I would like to do for my career?
Well, I don't know if it was my first, because I saw a lot of rock bands in high school, you know, Grand Funk Railroad and The Who and great bands, which were very exciting. That didn't really make me feel like that was a part of my music, what I wanted to do, you know. I think more probably when I got to college in Cincinnati and I started seeing probably one of the best concerts I ever saw in my life was Joni Mitchell.
Wow.
And that she blew me away. I mean, she came out on stage in the darkness, and she had on this black, beautiful outfit with a red rose going all the way down her sleeve. And when the spotlight hit her, you could hear the entire audience, like, the whole place just gasped and got silent. And it was really a transformative experience to hear such a great artist like that take over the stage, play the guitar, play the piano, sing her songs. And I thought, original music, that's something right there.
Yeah, for sure. I remember years ago, it was a reunion concert for Fleetwood Mac, and when Stevie Nicks came out and she was dancing around, I was just like, I got it. Like, you know, there's things that you need to see with your own eyes. And, like, for instance, I've never seen Bruce Springsteen live, and I've never been a huge fan. I've always admired him and respected him.
Sure.
But I hear that after you leave that show, you have a respect and a reverence for him that will never go away.
Probably just the energy.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about live music that no one has been able to experience for such a long time.
Yeah.
And I think about New York and the Broadway shows and all of the wonderful musicians and artists and actors that haven't been able to put their art out there to the public. It's just been a long time, a long wait.
It's been a long time, yeah. And I know I've gotten around quite a bit. I got married in July of 2019, and we've been together now for about 4.5 years, but she never really went to jazz. And now we go to jazz all the time. We love it. And we were just saying like a month ago when it was really cold here, and it's like, man, I can't wait to see music again because it's been so long. It's getting to that point now where it's like, man, this is just, it won't stop. It keeps going on and on and on.
Well, in Chicago, though, I must say the clubs are starting to open up. I actually have a live gig coming up on April 21st.
Wonderful.
At a place in Arlington Heights called Hey Nani. My great pianist partner that I've recorded 2 CDs with, Marshall Vente, we're doing the gig together as a duet. Both of the records that we recorded are duet records, piano and vocal records, and we just have so much fun doing. We always include a couple of originals that we've written together, but we'll do like a Beatles song like Help with a whole different take on it with our Marshall and Joanie 2. Our group is called 2, TWO. So he's such a good arranger, and it's a real joy and a pleasure to work with Marshall, and I'm really looking forward to this gig. It's going to be a live performance. Wow.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of live gigs,
Yeah.
you had the chance back in the 70s to tour with the Glenn Miller Orchestra. So talk to me a little bit about those early years when you were out and about doing your thing and kind of sowing your jazz seeds.
Yeah, back then, that was really my first touring experience. The Glenn Miller Orchestra was the original charts from the original band, so it was like the sanctioned, original arrangements and charts. And I was turned on to that by one of my teachers at the University of Cincinnati. I went to the Conservatory of Music there, and they had a jazz department. And Frank Brown was this great trumpet player, and he said, "Hey, I know I can submit your tape to them." Remember tapes?
Oh, yeah.
Before, so, I submitted a demo, and I went on board, and I toured for a few months. It was a wonderful experience to sing all those great songs in front of an orchestra. There was a male vocalist, and I was the female vocalist, and I got to sing the group songs, like Don't Sit Under the Apple Tree with Anyone Else But Me, and Kalamazoo, and fun old songs. And to be honest with you, a few months was quite enough for me. I just felt that it was a great experience, but at the same time, I didn't feel like there was going to be any more growth after learning these, 14 songs that were my featured songs. And I said, well, are there going to be any new songs? You're going to be writing any charts? No, that was it. So I thought, well, okay, I'll chalk it up to a great lifetime experience. And then when I came back to Cincinnati, I started gigging around the clubs in Cincinnati with different bands and musicians and doing jazz gigs and doing my own thing.
So you're no stranger to getting awards in your career, and I by no means don't want to ask what your favorite one is, but I do want to know what surprised you the most. What did you get that you just did not see happening?
Well, this year, I got an award with the Chicago Music Awards. It was a Lifetime Achievement Award for all the contributions I've made over my career and my life in music, and that was a surprise. It was an honor, certainly an honor to be recognized. It's always an honor to be recognized for what you do. And I have to share that with, even though the award was given to me, I have to share that with my husband, Sparrow, Bradley Parker Sparrow. I think all the years of us working with our label, with Southport Records, and producing and releasing so many records of primarily Chicago jazz artists, really helped to be the recipient of that award. So it was cool. They had a virtual live. Well, it was a virtual show, but they had invited different artists to perform that we taped in a very proper setting where everyone had their masks on and we were all separated, but we got to perform live, and they have it archived that you can actually still watch the show and the performances of different artists there, and they gave out all the awards, and it was cool. It was really cool, I have to say.
When you wake up every day and realize that you have the chance to create something, and you're a performer and you're an artist, what do you look forward to the most?
I don't wake up every day. I'm not the type of person that wakes up every day thinking, oh, I'm going to work on a song, or I'm going to work on my music. I just pretty much go through life as a jazz musician. I improvise. I decide what I want to work on today, and if it's coming up with a lyric or writing a song or sitting down at the piano or with Sparrow, or I just sort of go with the flow. And most of what I've been doing, all of this year for sure, is working on promoting my record. And that takes a lot of time, Joe. I have a team. I have, Kate Smith. She's doing my radio promotion and helping out with my record, and has just been great getting the word out. Well, to you, for first and foremost, to make it possible for us to do this interview. Another good friend of mine who is working on media for me, his name's Ralph Lampkin. He's been able to get my record out there to a lot of people that would never know about me in New York and so many different avenues. So, but for me, I'm working hours every day, and sometimes Sparrow has to tell me, take a break, because it's either going to happen or it's not. You can't spend every waking moment trying to pitch your own music. It's a difficult thing to do, Even when people know you, the percentage of promotional emails or calls or answers you get, it's daunting. It really can be overwhelming and daunting. So I'm just trying to relax and have fun with it and just work it and continue working on music. I got new songs that I want to keep producing more of my own records and records for other people, like we've always done.
This life we're hitting that that 1 year mark here of everything being shut down. When we get back to some things and things start waking up as they are right now, what do you miss the most from that old life that you're looking forward to getting back to?
Definitely performing live, and also just being able to be in the studio in close proximity, close to other musicians. So you don't have to worry about it so much, being together with friends and family. I think most people I would assume would say being with family that you haven't seen in a long time, friends and family. That's so important. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing my best friend back in Ohio that I haven't seen in a year. My best friend Joyce Grace. She's stayed home for a whole year, and she hasn't gone out anywhere. I'm lucky. The street we live on in Chicago, we can walk up and down the street. We can see our neighbors. We can wave. We can even go to restaurants.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Well, you got
to live. You got to live.
You do. You do. I agree. I totally agree. So everyone has actually, let me ask you this before I get to my final question for you is this. If you have a dream tonight and you run into your younger self around the time that you were really starting to get after it and become a professional, and you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
My younger self, I would probably say take better care of yourself. Not that I don't. I've always taken good care of myself, but it's so important as a person, as a musician, certainly as a singer. The standard stuff, Joe, exercise. When I was younger, I wasn't very athletic. I didn't do a lot of when I was a kid, I always had a bag of potato chips in my hand, you know. and you just have to know when you can have your limits, when you've done too much, when enough is enough, I guess. I don't know, that's not a very musical answer, but
that's exactly what I was looking for sure. So everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but you're the one living your life. Who do you think you are?
I'm a fun person. I enjoy life. I feel so lucky and so fortunate to have met Sparrow we've been married since 1982. That's a pretty impressive thing, I think, to have a partner, a life partner for that long. And also to have a life partner that is a musical partner and a business partner. So that defines much of my life is my life with Sparrow. Just knowing and having the confidence to know that I have constant support from him, that we support each other, and it's just a beautiful thing.
That's a great, triumphant way to wrap everything up. Hey, thank you for taking some time out today for Neon Jazz, and good luck with the album and the return to the stage.
Well, I'll tell you, the next record we're working on is for George Freeman, guitar legend, George Freeman.
Right.
Sparrow told me, said he's been locked up for a year too. He's got a gig coming up at the Green Mill in April. We're going to do a new CD, and he's so excited about it. He's going to be 94 in April.
Wow.
And I know, and if that isn't inspiring, I don't know what is. You know.
Right.
That's an inspiration right there.
Yep, yeah. I'm looking forward to it for sure. Joanie, thank you again. Good luck. I look forward to the album and seeing everybody getting back on the stage.
Thanks so much, Joe. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest singers in Chicago, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Joanie for her time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Simple time. Simple time.
Neon Jazz.